Be my career path.
What was your interest in that, or where did that kind of come from?
You know what? When I did the internship, the team atmosphere, because you're separated from the rest of the police department. And when I got to do the internships, those narcotics teams and the DA teams, the way they worked together, the way they had to be on the same page, the way they prepared for certain tasks that they had to go on, and things like that. To me, that was sports, right? That was the preparation, and then obviously the adrenaline rush of it all and all that stuff. But after being away from the game for 5-6 months, I missed it so much that I was fortunate.
That was from after you finished at Boise. Did you move back to Corona right away?
Then? Right away. I had done the internships going into my senior year at Boise State.
And then how did you kind of get your feet in the water to become a coach again at high school at least?
You know what? I was back home. How did that happen? I was back home, and my old high school coaches asked me if I wanted to help out, and so I was like, yeah. As the more and more I was away from it, I started to miss it, and I was like, I should see if this is what I want to do. Some of my mentors were like, hey, you need to go back and coach your old high school too, and see if this is something that you do want to do. It's very time demanding, and then obviously you take the next step. I was fortunate to become a GA. When Dan Hawkins left Boise State to go to Colorado, and that was an opportunity for my wife and I to see if this life was for us. And so we were very fortunate after the first season of coaching at Mall High School. I got an opportunity to be a GA.
Was the police thing, did you have to make a decision then to do that, or would have you been able to fall back into that, let's say after being a GA, could you have gone back? And
I would have been able to fall back.
Okay, interesting. And just last thing, from being from that area, how much has that helped you? Troy said that's helped a ton, you two relating to each other, relationship. And I know you only have him for a year, but
right.
Just how important was it to kind of especially early on with what he means to this team? And
there's no question. There's a lot of familiar faces from recruiting and/or from being from the same area, and for me and knowing who Troy is and knowing who a lot of these players are from being in and around that area and recruiting that area, but also the guys that coach Troy and coach some of these other guys that are from the Inland Empire. I know a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys are the same as me. They're guys that I played against in high school and now are become coaches. And so being able to have conversations with those coaches back in the area about the guys that play for us coming into this deal, and was a huge part of it, because we didn't have a lot of time, going into spring ball, and you got to forge these relationships and you got to move quickly. Ultimately, this game is all about that. It's so demanding that it takes strong relationships, and those are always in constant motion of being built, enhanced because of the demand of the game.
Growing up, or even coaching in high school.
Say it again.
Growing up, or even coaching in high school, could you imagine players like Tavon and Justin in back-to-back years, leaving town and going to Oregon?
You know what? No. I grew up. My dad was an assistant high school coach. I grew up on the football field running around, and really, at that time, Corona wasn't a very big place, and so growing up and ever imagining that, be playing in the Rose Bowl with the group of players, coaches for the University of Oregon. Sometimes you got to pinch yourself and enjoy the hard work that you're blessed to have.
Hey Andy, you said at home that you really enjoy the X's and O's part of this whole deal. Kind of maybe talk about that if you would, just what you enjoy so much about that, and kind of figuring out the defense and figuring out what people are doing.
Yes.
Tell me.
I guess it's more so the competitiveness. You get older and you can't compete at a lot of things anymore like you used to, and so you find different ways to compete, to challenge yourself mentally. And that's even so, even as a player, going all the way back, those are some of the things that always intrigued me, that I found, week to week, day to day, challenge in studying film, and trying to prepare the best. And those those are the things that we try to breed into our players and try to build within our program, and not only for the sake of football, but for whatever career path, whatever field that our players go into down the road. You're going to separate yourself by how you work, how you prepare yourself, and that's a huge part of our program. I think Coach does an unbelievable job with that, and that's one of the things that drew me to Oregon.
And then transitioning that out to the field, do you enjoy the teaching part, the hands-on teaching part of practice?
There's no question. I mean, that's the fun part about it. You get to run around and go out there. I never played in the Rose Bowl, but I'm going to get to practice in Rose Bowl and run around. I think a lot of our coaches do that. I would say that our coaches are extremely active at practice, moving around in drills, drill to drill, and within the drills with our players. And in the training process as well. It's not only during the season, but in fall camp, spring ball. We're out there and running around. We're all trying to do it together. And being able to take the stuff from the classroom to the field is a huge challenge. And sometimes being able to be right there with the players in the middle of it all and helping them communicate and make those adjustments to build that confidence they need to be able to do it on their own when the time comes.
What can you say about Troy Dye's leadership skills?
So Troy is his personality is he'll light up the room when he walks in. He's got that way about himself, and for his ability to lead this group when it's time to work, whether it be in the weight room, whether it be in meetings or whether it be on the practice field, when it's time for Troy to go, Troy goes. And that right there. We've been able to get to where we are today with great leaders like Troy, and obviously we're going to continue to need that leadership as we prepare for the biggest challenge of the year.
His halftime speech at Cal, what kind of impact do you think that had? Was it overblown, or do you think?
No, I think when Troy speaks, guys listen. Troy's played a lot of football here. Troy's done a lot of good things at the university. I think leaders number one have to have credibility because of how they do things and how they work. And obviously Troy's credibility is high, and that speaks to what he's doing. Again, we're going to need that here as we go through, and that was conversations leading up to this, and making sure. I think Coach does an unbelievable job with the messaging and getting the mentality of the program right, and that's going to be a huge factor for us in our prep.
This has been one of the best